The cult classic thriller The Hand That Rocks the Cradle has been reimagined for a modern audience, and ends in a more thought-provoking way than the original. Led by Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Micah Monroe, the film centers on lawyer Caitlin Morales who, after giving birth to her second child, welcomes struggling childcare worker Polly Murphy into her home as a new sitter, not knowing of her plans to disrupt her harmonic family. After initially succeeding in making Caitlin look like a danger to the family, The Hand That Rocks the Cradle ending sees the protagonist finally learn the truth about Polly, with her father having abused Caitlin when she was younger. Having failed to convince anyone, he was burned alive by Winstead's character, which also resulted in the deaths of Polly's whole family. Following a fight in which Caitlin was stabbed but briefly subdued Polly, she attempted to flee in her car with her infant daughter, with Polly attacking the windshield and dying after they crash into a car speeding through the neighborhood. Prior to the movie's release, Joe Deckelmeyer interviewed Micah Monroe, Mary Elizabeth Winstead and Malaya Vega to discuss The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. When asked about the movie's ending, which really blurs the lines between victim and villain, Winstead expressed that the climax is not triumphant at all for either Caitlin or Polly, something that she came to really love about the ending. For her character, specifically, Winstead denoted that much of Caitlin's life had seen so much of her trauma pushed down and repressed, and was purposefully trying to move on from it without really healing. As such, the personality we follow throughout the remake is a whole new person rather than the real Caitlin from when she was a child, even though it's impossible to run away from something like that. Despite the movie ending with Caitlin successfully escaping and killing Polly, Winstead doesn't see it as this triumphant ending of getting the bad guy in the end. Instead, she feels there is relief in that, at least now, Caitlin gets to just be who she is, thinking this could lead to more happiness for her down the road. For Monroe's side of things, she felt it was the most important thing for me to really love this character, in order to let Polly be more than a straightforward villain in the film. This not only opened the door for the star to understand her, but also to have no judgment in her actions and motivations, and expressed her hopes that people will have sympathy for her and will potentially come away with a tiny bit of understanding of where her anger comes from. Everything else we learned about The Hand That Rocks the Cradle from the cast. Screen Rant. First of all, amazing job on The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. This story takes a familiar 90s thriller and filters it through something really grounded and psychological. How did each of you connect with the idea that fear sometimes lives in the perfect home? Micah Monroe. I love the horror genre, and the scariest movies to me don't need to have blood or be gross. It's the things that feel believable, the things I'm thinking about when I go to sleep at night. That's why I feel like this movie is really so grounded, and that's what makes it really haunting and disturbing. Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Yeah, exactly. You get so invested in the characters, and they feel so real. We were trying to create was this feeling of connection, to make these people feel real, so that you can feel their fear and their anxiety, and you can relate to that and kind of go on that terrifying journey. Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Michelle is such an incredible collaborator, and my favorite thing in the world was getting to talk to her about Caitlin's backstory, who she is, and who she presents herself to be, finding all the layers in between. My favorite thing to do is play a character who's hiding something, whether consciously or unconsciously, and not really being their authentic selves. Slowly, you get to reveal what that is, which is such an amazing challenge and just so fun to do as an actor. When everyone around you is super talented, it makes it really easy. You get all those pieces together before you start, and then you just show up and do it together. It's the best. Malaya Vega. I love watching thriller movies, they're so fun. The fact that I actually get to be in one is awesome. This is my first big movie, and it was great. It was actually really funny because I had to do a lot of auditions and callbacks, and then one day I was just in my house drawing. My mom walks into the office, and she's on the phone with Ms. Michelle. She hands me the phone, and Ms. Michelle was like, "Malaya, you got the role." I just started crying. It was amazing. Malaya Vega. What's really cool about working with her, and the way she actually helped me with those scenes, is that she gave me a lot of acting tips. She gave me some thoughts to put in my head, which actually helped me a lot. She just said that, anytime the scene got too much for me or anything happened, I could always ask to take 5. That actually really helped a lot, because I could actually have a break to cool myself down. Malaya Vega. It's cool to change emotion so fast, but it was a bit hard because we didn't film the scenes in order. So, one day I would be super happy, and then the next day I would have to be all emotional and super sad. It was a challenge, but I feel like it actually helped me improve. My acting coach, Ms. Kimberly, was super nice. She got all these character thoughts into my head. For Emma, I had to think a lot about how she feels in each scene. When they say cut, I can just let Malaya flow back in, but I have to start getting back into Emma mode when we're about to film again. Malaya Vega. I tried to bring as much as possible into Emma because when Michelle and I met in person for one of the callbacks, we were talking about how to make Emma be more like me, so that I would be more comfortable with the role. I like the color green, so Ms. Michelle made Emma's favorite color green. I play piano, so you can see that Emma has a piano in her room in one of the shots. Malaya Vega, yeah, they did. It was super fun working with them for my very first big movie. It's actually awesome to work with these really famous people, and they actually gave me a lot of acting tips, which was super fun. Malaya Vega, it was really fun filming those scenes and talking to Micah about them. We actually started to feel connected with those scenes, and it was really cool when we got to rehearse them together. The scene that was the most fun for me, probably, was one they actually cut from the movie. There's a clip of it in the trailer, which was one of the parts where Polly and Emma are sitting on a park bench, just talking about what the word depressed means. Emma's like, "Is there something wrong with my mom?" But it was fun because we got to film that on a massive hill overlooking Yankee Stadium. But even just talking in between the scenes, while there was a birthday party in the background, was really cool. We had fun.